I didn't realize that the words people use to define you could feel like a cage until I experienced it. You shine brightest when you stay true to yourself, not trying to fit into someone else's mold. As we grow, we shouldn't let others' opinions lock us up, because that restricts the wonderful things the Holy Spirit can do in our lives. My dad was very sick when I was growing up, and I was born between two babies who didn't. That experience taught me how precious life is. My mom held onto me tightly, having lost two other children. It made me appreciate every moment and vow to never take the gift of life for granted. I'll make my own decisions and follow my own path. You can say what you want, but I'm staying true to myself. I believe that everything we become is already inside us, like how acorns hold the potential to become oak trees. I've always been curious and eager to learn. My mom used to say the world is like a school, with everyone as a teacher. I've taken that to heart, learning from everyone I meet, no matter what. Pretty interesting, don't you think? Absolutely, I couldn't agree more. I've seen that anyone who achieves greatness in any aspect of life has faced challenges that could have broken them. Instead, those challenges became the fuel that propelled them forward, pushing them to become the best version of themselves. And I truly believe that the most incredible part of who you are is waiting to be unleashed, and it's often pressure that brings it out. In life, it's often in the moments of hardship, not just in the sunny times, that we truly discover ourselves. Just like grapes are meant to be crushed to make wine, we too may face challenges that seem crushing. Consider Jesus, who was born knowing he would die for a greater purpose. He didn't shy away from the path to the cross, despite the pain and shame. Instead, he focused on the joy that awaited beyond the suffering. Similarly, our trials can lead to something beautiful, like the transformation of grapes into wine. It's a reminder that even in our toughest moments, there's potential for growth and a deeper understanding of ourselves. Life's challenges are like the process of making wine from grapes. It's through the crushing that true essence is released and transformed into something powerful and enduring. Similarly, when we face difficulties, it's often the pressure that brings out the hidden treasures within us. It's a funny thing, really. Wherever there's a sense of purpose and resistance to that purpose, pressure has a way of breaking down the barriers and releasing our potential. The key is to yield to the process, allowing ourselves to be transformed and strengthened by the challenges we face. But the problem today is that we don't preach process, we preach promises. Yeah. So we have raised the generation of people who see God in promises, not process. So you go to church from Sunday, and you hear about the promises of God, you go home to the process, and when you encounter the process, you say, well, God is not in this. And I would argue that God is more in the process than he is in the promise. When you pass through the waters, I'll be with you. When you go through the fire, I'll be there. His promise is to be with you in the process. And there are things that you cannot learn about him until you are in the process. There is a revelation of his glory that only comes in the frustration and the disruption of your life. He said, I'm a present help in trouble. If you avoid the trouble, you'll avoid me. I am present in trouble. I am revealed in trouble. I show myself strong when men forsake me. Then the Lord will take me up. So it was good for me that I have been afflicted. Had I not been afflicted, I would have never known the glory of God. So all through the Bible keeps the symbol of our faith is a crushing place, a cross, an emblem of suffering and shame. It's not a crown, it's not a throne, it's a cross who makes an invitation from a cross. But Jesus, yes, you know you make an invitation. You say, come, go to Hawaii, let's go to Switzerland. Jesus says, come on, let's go to the cross. That's a hard invitation. Take up your cross and follow me. Come on, let's die. If the only way you can follow that kind of request is to know that what is on the other side is greater than anything that was before it, I want to caution everyone about the silent pressures that can weigh us down, like stress, heartbreak, and emotional pain. You don't need to be physically ill or locked away to feel crushed by these invisible forces. Science shows that our bodies respond to emotional pain in much the same way as physical pain. When your heart is broken, it sends signals to your brain just like a broken leg would, affecting your whole system. So, it's important to recognize and address these invisible struggles, as they can be just as impactful as physical ones. You don't need to experience physical harm to feel overwhelmed by emotional stress. We're currently facing invisible pressures that affect us deeply every day. Life moves quickly, and amidst this rapid pace, there's an underlying sense of pressure that's difficult to pinpoint. Despite feeling the pain and pressure, it's often challenging to identify where it's coming from. God offers us a choice. We can view life's challenges as either a wine press or a potter's wheel. As the wheel spins, it undergoes transformation under His touch. If we're not ready for disruption, we're not ready for renewal. Admittedly, it's not an easy process. It requires a mindset of learning rather than being driven by emotions. There was a time in my life when I felt utterly crushed. My heart was broken, and I was filled with worry. It was one of the darkest moments I've experienced, and I couldn't help but cry out to God, expressing my hatred for the situation. Despite my pain, I knew deep down that God wouldn't allow me to suffer without reason. Even though tears streamed down my face and I couldn't see a way out, I trusted that if God allowed me to endure pain, it was for my ultimate good. I found solace in the belief that God is intimately aware of every aspect of me. Unlike human relationships, where opinions can change, God's love and understanding are unwavering. He knows me inside and out, and there's nothing about me that surprises Him. This certainty in God's knowledge and love provided me with a sense of security, even in the midst of suffering. Sometimes suffering is inexplicable, and it's challenging to find joy in the midst of agony. In those moments, I've learned to simply survive, trusting that there's a purpose beyond my understanding. Looking back, I've realized that surviving through those difficult times has led to profound growth and understanding. While the pain may not have felt wonderful at the time, it was instrumental in shaping who I am today. In a way, I've come to see that life often emerges from death, just as seeds must decay in the ground before new life can sprout. Similarly, the things within us that die or are lost pave the way for something new to be born.